meeting to order. And, please do the roll call.
House. Kirk.
Here.
Cosgrove.
Here.
Frank.
Here.
Severson. Fleming. You have 4, sir.
Awesome. Moving on then. Item number 3, verification of open meeting law compliance. Excellent. Thank you very much. Approval of the agenda, a 15-point agenda. Looking for a motion to approve such agenda. Cosgrove and Manning seconds.
Are you going to be able to item 10 with your fourth meeting on video?
Yeah. We're going to see who's going to get here. We have some options. All right, approve of the agenda. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say so, say aye. Anyone opposed? All right, moving on. Approval of the minutes from the January 3rd, 2025 meeting. Any questions or comments on those minutes? I'm looking for a motion to approve those. Well, you can, I mean, as long as you read them. Well, yeah. Cosgrove, motion to accept the minutes. Second. Thank you, Julie. Fleming seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Moving on. Public comment. Anybody either online or in the room here for public comment? Public comment under item number 6. Anything? Hearing none, moving on. Item number 7, reports, sheriff departmental activities. Where do you want to start?
Okay, so for the month of January, we had 70,854 in vouchers. Number of jail bookings were 51. Average number of inmates housed is 24. Monthly complaints is 325. 42 traffic citations issued. No warnings. 22 civil process papers served. And 7 transports for the month. Average number on electronic monitoring was 7. Dispatch activity, we had 600 calls for service, 133 calls for EMS, 104 calls for the police department, and 32 calls for the fire department.
And thank you for adding the fire department on that. I think it's good information.
And again, that's specifically Richland Center Fire.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Any questions on that?
That alone is a call a day just from that group.
Yeah, and that's they've been running like crazy. They've been running so. Any questions on that? We also have the staffing report. We're currently down 2 jailer dispatchers, 1 male, 1 female. Daniel Brockway resigned as a full-time employee. He's going to stay on as a casual employee, but that opened up a female position for us as well. So if you know any good candidates for a male or female jailer position, send them our way because we're struggling to find some. Oh yes, and Aaron just reminded me, our 2 new squads are on the way. I ordered in December, and they're already in transit. So.
Oh, nice. Okay. Will those go right into service?
We'll need to find or get some upfitting lined up for them. I did not expect them to be here in under 2 months. So I don't have upfitting lined up for them yet, but we'll get that lined up and get them going.
Okay, and the position that was approved in the November, December budget, has that been hired?
Yes, so Max Haugen started on January 5th and has been doing really well in field training. We'll probably get pushed out of field training fairly soon. Well, not pushed out, he's going to be ready pretty soon.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's been working out well for us. He's caught on real quick and should be ready to be signed off training shortly.
Excellent. Questions from the committee?
As far as jailers or even officers, if you have military training, does that automatically make them able to do that or shorten their training? They still have to go
No.
through the process?
They still have to go through the process. We certainly like candidates with military experience, but it doesn't change the training aspect for it anyway.
They know like if MPs helped out or.
No. They still have to go, they still have to be either certified or certifiable by training and standards. So for the jailers, typically we have to send them to the jail academy. For our patrol deputies, a lot of times they come to us with all the training, but not always. So.
Other questions on the sheriff department activities? Anything else you have? Okay, moving on, item number B, coroner.
All right, so for the month of January, we did 16 case investigations. Age range was from 24 to 101 years old. We did encounter our first traffic fatality of the year in the month of January. 15 of the cases were cremations, only one of which was a traditional burial. 8 of those 16 cases were hospice related. We so far conducted 1 autopsy in January, and we've already autopsy number 2 into the first week of February. For cause of death, 5 were directly related to cancer, 3 were cardiac. We had 4 brain-related, 2 cases were caused by dementia. 1 was Parkinson's, 1 from pneumonia, 1 accident, 1 vehicle collision was that fatality earlier reference, and then we are pending 1 final cause of death on the toxicology report from autopsy, so expect to see that in about 6 to 8 weeks.
Questions for the coroner's office? Hearing none, moving on to the circuit court judge.
So Judge McDougall was not able to join us today. She had some decisions that needed to take priority on cases. There actually, one is in particular a Richland County case. So she's still busy with a lot of out-of-county cases. And so anyway, she wasn't able to make it for that reason today. I didn't know, and maybe it'll be addressed later in the agenda. She did ask, and maybe, I don't know if there's anyone from MIS that can provide us an update just on where things are at with the projects as far as like the Zoom in the small courtroom and the cameras.
Okay.
So she was just kind of asking for more information rather than providing information today.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's anyone on that could address that.
I
I'm on, and we have not moved on that project because we are still in the midst of radio project and the security for the courthouse with the camera projects there. So we haven't moved on that. We will, it's on the slate. It's just our plates are really full. So we haven't forgotten about it. It's just lots of projects.
Okay, and the second reason Judge McDougall had asked, but also CCAP had reached out to me, kind of asking where we were at on that, if there's anything. So I just wanted to provide an update to CCAP as well, just on, connecting on their side of it as well.
I think judges that have been holding their hearings in the small courtroom have also been wondering. We've had some difficulties and yeah, when we're doubled up, it's a problem.
And then the only other thing, she hasn't been able to move forward quite yet on the chairs, but we're still looking at what we want to do there.
Okay.
We haven't forgotten about that, but that's being delayed this month anyway. Didn't limit month of January, but we're still looking at that.
Right. I did have a discussion with her last month on that, so. She has some ideas for that. Okay. How's the door up there? The door between the hallway.
That he finished, Randy
Oh.
finished bringing out the door.
Oh, it's finished out?
Well, I, is he all the way with it?
Oh, perfect. Excellent.
It's,
I know that was one of the.
it's better to have it done.
Good. All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Anything else on the circuit court judge? Follow up on. Yeah, follow up on the Zoom and the chairs, then is kind of where that's sitting right now.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
cameras.
And what?
And the cameras.
And the cameras, yes. All right, anything else then? Any questions for the circuit court judge from the committee?
I'd say I did witness myself problems with doubling up in the small courtroom. I did talk to Randy. He said they'd been looking into what it would take to get a screen in there and stuff.
That's the stuff that Jen's asking for a status on. We've been working on it for quite some time.
They got it figured out.
No, they're too busy with the other projects that they need to get done first, they said.
Okay.
I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised at some point if other judges refuse to hold court in there. One in particular has noted on the record every time he's here, the issues with that. And these are our cases. I mean, when we say visiting judges, as you know, they're visiting judges on Richland County cases. And most of them serving Richland County people.
I know he really struggled with it.
All right, follow up on that. Clerk of court, anything else?
I think that's good.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Good morning. I sent you guys the expenditure detail that I have for the month of January. I did not send yet the detail of 2024 past what you got last month. I think that the county's finance folks will close everything out like around the middle of March. So I won't know where everything is at, and I want to present you the final stuff. Every year I kind of do that in the spring. So probably the April meeting, I hope that I can show you where we're at, and I hope it's still under budget. And then, of course, the revenues were over. So I think it's going to be a significant difference, and it's going to be a significant net, like I said last time. So I'm hoping that those chairs that we need, that we can,
Something,
yeah,
options.
yeah. As far as things that have occurred in our department in the last month, we typically use the time when the judge has like an out-of-county trial or whatever. If we don't have visiting judges, we use that time to try to work on like bigger projects in our office that we can't get done when we have a lot of court, and that's like records retention stuff. So at the end of the year, we got clearance from the Wisconsin Historical Society to purge another set of old records that are beyond their Supreme Court rule retention. And so I think we filled up like every bin that the county had available, and then we had to wait until the shredder people came so that we could fill more by whatever. So that is a pretty large project, but not one that we're able to chip away at like every day or every week, only at certain times. So we took advantage of that time to do a lot of that. And that was good.
You got the resolution?
The resolution, and I see you guys, you have it as it's a separate item, but if you wanted to skip ahead,
We might as well.
yeah, that would be great. So on Wednesday of next week, I will head down to the Capitol. Our association has set a legislative day program. Right now, I think we have 30 or 30 some clerks that are going to be attending it. I think we would have had more participation. Unfortunately, the Clerks Institute, which is great education provided by the state, the director's office in conjunction with the Wisconsin Supreme Court. They provided an optional Wednesday afternoon program that conflicts with the same time as our legislative day. So many of the new clerks, especially in Wisconsin, feel obligated, even though it is an optional session, knowing that it is always great information. They are going to attend that instead of lobbying with us as an association of the Capitol. State folks have assured us it was not intentional, it was accidental, how it was all set up. It is what it is. And we will march on. We still have a very large contingency that's going to the Capitol with a very well thought out plan. We'll be taking our talking points that we sent to you guys and the resolution and individual county issues to our legislators. Everybody who's attending has already set up meetings. I'll be meeting with Senator Kieski and with Representative Kurtz. Kurtz is a vice chair of the Joint Finance Committee and is very all in with the clerks of court and the Wisconsin County Association on this issue. He's been a very strong partner with us. And he and Marcy Rainbolt from the Wisconsin County Association will be our guest speakers at the legislative day. So this was like planned late last year. Our legislative committee, we started working on this, got them secured, got them on there. So the plan is to bring the clerks in, have a sit down. Here's what the issues are. Here's what the talking points are so that everybody kind of has the same message. And those who've never done this before have a little bit of confidence in how to do it because it's kind of unnerving, but we're trying to be like, this is fun, this is good, but it's also really important. And so after those messages, then from 2:00 through the rest of the day, clerks will be meeting throughout the Capitol. And the clerks that have a lot of representatives and stuff in their districts, other clerks that have less, like myself, we're going to go with them and help them with their message and try to get in as many meetings as possible. And then at 5:00, we have a reception where it's everybody buys their own stuff. Nobody's giving the lawmakers any gifts or any appetizers or anything. It's all on their own, but at Madison's restaurant, which is where many of them gather. Because the chair of our legislative committee, he used to work in the Capitol and has some good knowledge and has some good contacts. So we're hoping to kind of continue the discussions then afterwards. So basically next Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m, we are all in on this issue. And so I'm hoping that the board, Richland County Board, will be one of the first to approve this hot off the press resolution that we've drafted. And we'll then take that, we'll send it up to the governor and to our lawmakers, and that will just be another piece of this effort. I did learn yesterday afternoon, this concerns me a little, but we'll still just keep going with it. I know from the Milwaukee Clerk of Court that she's in on this effort with us, but now torn. They have, 80 judges in.
I don't know.
I don't know. They got a pile of judges in Milwaukee. And of course, a clerk of court can be removed by a majority of unhappy judges, statutory provision. So they kind of dangle that over her, even though she's elected. Their county wants to build, they have multiple courthouses, I think, but they want to build a new courthouse. How that's the state's problem, I don't know, because if we built a new courthouse, it would be levied on our taxpayers in Richland County. But Milwaukee County seems to think it's different for them. And so they pulled her in, the county exec and chief judge said, are you going against us on our local needs for Milwaukee County? What's this that you're joining all these clerks of court in this thing? We're hearing that they're making a lot of noise at the Capitol. Are you in on this? So it's good that we hear we're making a lot of noise and that there's people concerned about that because that means it's getting attention. But it's concerning that Milwaukee, who has half of the state's resources basically, and in the court system, they're half of the state, and very political down there, Democratic governor, what's gonna happen? So I don't know how that's gonna affect us. It was nice of her to, as soon as she heard it, that she called me and she let me know, hey, and I said, Anna, you gotta cover your hind end. And so You know, she said, I will still give you my numbers on the things that are because of this lack of state funding, what affects us. You know, so like I will still can be represented in paper, but I don't think I should be part of that going on down there. But just that piece of information that, so now are we going to be competing with Milwaukee County for a courthouse? You know, I don't know. But Tony Kurtz has said the way this likely kind of goes is that, you know, the governor puts out their budget and then often the controlling party then will say, they'll reject it, and then they start building in the pieces themselves. So he says, don't freak out when you hear that. You know, if you hear that the budget gets rejected, this is still a top priority for us. And because they work closely with the Wisconsin County Association, all the lawmakers do, and they respect them. And the fact that Wisconsin Counties Association believes strongly in what the clerks of court are trying to do carries a lot of weight at the Capitol.
So is the resolution drafted by the counties association?
No, the resolution, I drafted the resolution together with the information that we have put together as the legislative body of our association. And then we gave it to Marcy from the Wisconsin County Association to make sure everything in there is correct. There were some things, there's some differing pieces of information that the counties association has said, and the, you know, different, the numbers because of who has what numbers they're accessing and stuff. So anything that was questionable between what the county association and the clerks are, you know, we're like, and we're not really sure that this is the same for everybody. We nixed that.
Yeah.
So everything in there applies to all counties. It's safely, everybody can use it. It's.
So are other counties going to be
Yes.
working to?
They're going to do the
Same
same.
thing using this form?
Yes, it's just you guys, so we just got, we got this whipped together, like last week. And then, you guys there's other counties that are doing it too. There's some counties that went rogue and started their administrator, and they did their own, and that's kind of there's a few of those. One of them that did that, and then they sent the resolution to the director of state courts.
We're not going to make it.
So we're not doing that. We have in our resolution where it gets sent and whatever. And so that's part of the reason the director of state court, they're watching everything we do because they're afraid it's going to take away from them. And that's not at all what we're trying to do. We're trying to infuse more into the pot, but then have it identified as for the counties. So this isn't to us versus them, but it's us saying we're falling behind.
So under item number 8, then you're looking for this committee to approve this resolution to take it on to county board, and then
Yes.
you will take it from there.
Yes.
To get it to the correct people.
Correct. Yeah, I don't know if I'm not gonna put it on anybody else to do it. I don't know what, but I'll make sure that it
Okay,
is.
so I make sure it gets to the right place.
It will.
and the right person. So I have Chad making that motion under item number 8. Okay, Julie seconding that. Further discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor of moving this resolution on to the county board, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, just want to make sure we got that
Yep.
cleared up. and
No,
taken care of.
I will make sure.
All right, I know you will, just wanted, just looking for the clarification of the points in the line to get it done, so.
So
All right.
wish us luck.
Yeah, definitely, and it's budget time, and this is the time to get it out.
It's
so.
taken, I would say, last solid 2 years to get to where this is at. Have learned a lot along the way, and now I'm not afraid to go. I'm not afraid of a lot, but I'm not afraid to go down there and do. I mean, these are our lawmakers. They don't know the issues unless we talk to them about it. And on a lot of bills and things that are proposed, they don't get any input. They want the input. And when we have new people at the Capitol, they come in from all different occupations. But they're just like you guys are expected to all of a sudden know everything about everything that comes to them. And they don't unless they have input. So you're just helping them. And so just being a helper. And then The new clerks and stuff, you know, that are like, I'm so nervous. I've had several contact me and I'll just say, call me. And we go over this and I'm like, this is what it means. This is how it'll go. And I explain that they want to hear from you. You're a constituent that has information that they need.
Just people.
They are
Decisions.
they're just people like us.
That's right.
And and they want, yeah, they're looking for information. So
Yep, absolutely.
yeah, it's a good thing.
It's a very good thing. Very good thing. Okay, anything else then?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee?
I just have one question.
Please.
When you were purging records, what year are you purging?
It depends on the case, type. So we presently were purging felony records that had been dismissed and misdemeanor records. Misdemeanor records are 20 years past the date of disposition. And if they were, now the law has changed, and I think if they get disposed as a county ordinance, it's less than that. So within the last like year or so, that's changed. So our system's intuitive, and that's where the state provides the CCAP system, the CCAP software. And I'm the only one that has the purge authorities in there, so it's like it's tightly controlled. And you put in there basically what dates and what case types you want to purge, and it will only bring out the list of everything that is legally beyond retention based on what the charge was and when it was disposed and when it was paid off. So if it had a fine attached to it, it also has to meet the financial criteria for purging of financial records. So they vary, but a lot of them are around 20 years old. And then the felonies, if they were before, we never could purge a lot of felonies. Those are ones that Historical Society might want. And so you have to wait the time, it's like 120 days off and whatever. But then when they told us they weren't interested in them, we ran a list, and because of that law change, there was a lot more that came onto the list because many were disposed as misdemeanors. So now they fall into that 20-year. Yeah, so we're looking at stuff from often early 2000s, whatever in there or before.
Okay, what about paper records? Any of those then still paper records, or they're all?
Oh, no, many are paper. We didn't have scanners and stuff in our office from the state until like 2012 or so. And so those records, yeah, most of what we're purging, yeah, well, everything that we purged while we were working on this was paper.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so then obviously you're gonna still have that for quite a few years, then if it's 2012 that you're talking
Correct.
early 2000.
But if they're records that we have to retain for a long time, that's the flip side of what we do constantly as we're able. Sometimes we only get one done a day, sometimes we don't get any. It just depends on what's going on. But things that are gonna have to sit on the shelf for a long time, those are the ones that we scan, you know,
Okay.
but it's a slow continual process, but by us doing it and not farming it out, we have complete control of the records because we're responsible for those records. I will never farm it out. And we scan each document. So one case that's like this thick, you know, may have like 100 and some documents in it. We scan them all separately so that when there's records requests, we can identify that document quickly. You know, we don't just bulk scan the whole like case. So it's time consuming. That's why there will for a long time be paper in the vault, but it just gets less and less. Each time we do this, every day it gets less.
Thank you.
Yeah. Come down and see the vault sometime and I'll show you.
And then they're double checked to make sure.
Yes.
You know, so one person scans them in and then they're checked by a second person to make sure that that document is indeed scanned in and stuff. So.
And that you can see it well and everything. That's the quality control. And that's, so when the position transferred from our office to Jen's office, that was one of the things that we would do in office was we had like revolve. Like if I scanned it, then the person to the right of me would check it, you know, and then the following week we did everybody go to the left. So just like a quality control thing. But when we lost that position or gave it to the other side of the hall, we would not have time to be checking our records. And so Jen Markeen Jen's deputy, she actually records checks all of our documents. So that's, we work together all the time, and that's really important, and that's time consuming work.
And same thing, we don't get to it when we're busy, but, you know, like Stacy said, if she's out of county, and that gives us a little more time to catch up on some of that stuff.
Right. No court doesn't mean no work.
Exactly.
Other questions? Hearing none, moving on to register and probate.
Morning. So this morning, as far as the budget, I'm still currently under budget. I just sent out a final reminder yesterday to all of the attorneys to get their billing for 2024 in soon. So that we're still waiting, we'll still get some of that for their work completed during the 2024. So those bills are coming in, just so you're aware of that, you know, we're not done with the 2024 budget. And so that's, I don't have a lot on that side of it. I just wanted to touch base real quick on the probate side. So as 24 came to an end, kind of looking back, it was when another thing that we do when we don't have court is go back and try and nudge attorneys and pro se people along that might be dragging a little bit on probate cases in particular. Because although they're important, they're not urgent like some cases. So that's one of the things I've been working on, especially the last 10 days, is to kind of nudge those people along. And I just wanted to note a couple of things just to this committee that the one main difference I've seen in 2024 is the contentiousness in probate cases this year versus previous years. So I think that by family dynamics, have made it a little bit more challenging this last year. It's just something I'm noting that just for whatever reason, that in comparison to previous 2023 and prior, that we've had more. So what happens is a lot of if everyone gets along and it's filing paperwork and things, those come before myself. But if there's an objection or a disagreement to anything, then those cases get pushed to Judge McDougall. And then a hearing is held, and if they object to the will or object to who's being the personal representative, or they object because someone's not doing their job as the personal representative in the dutiful manner that they're supposed to, then that goes before the judge. So we've had probably more formal probate cases before Judge McDougall than in the last several years. So I just thought I would kind of bring that to your attention, that that's just something that I noticed. So that takes up a little bit more court time and just more hearings. And sometimes people, you know, if they hire an attorney out of Madison or Milwaukee, and a lot of times she will allow that attorney to appear by Zoom. But a lot of times if there's an evidentiary hearing or a motion hearing or you know, an actual, you know, whether a will is valid and there's actual signatures or things are forged or not, those things come before the court and they have to be in person. So I just thought I would mention that, just kind of to let you know that's something that I noticed. The last thing I want to say this morning is I just want to reiterate, just because of some things going on in other counties, the importance of having out-of-county judges. So we have out-of-county judges because they're Richland County cases, right, for us. So if Judge McDougall had previously represented someone in a guardianship case or in a mental case or in a criminal case, if she had previously represented a defendant when she was public defender, she cannot preside over that case. So we have to bring in these judges. We have to so that, because if it's not just that she has to be unbiased, but the perception by the public needs to be that it's unbiased. So if anyone perceives that it's not unbiased, then, you know, that's the reason we need another judge to come in. And so we need Judge Gaskell, we need Judge Allen from Iowa County, we need these other judges to preside over the Richland County cases. the same thing in Viroqua, in Dodgeville, Curtis Sheen. If they have any connection, family members know them personally, whatever the situation, they have to recuse themselves. And Judge McDougall still receiving, again, cases from Juneau County, Crawford County, Vernon County, Iowa County. So she has these other cases that are outside of Richland County as well. So I just want to stress that in these small communities and small towns, this is needed. It's important. And you cannot, you know, if the work is gonna be there and some, you know, there's been thought of trying to, you know, have them go less or have, I don't know, cuts here and there. And, you know, maybe I'm still remembering back when we were close to going to referendum and all the stress that comes from losing people and losing positions, and those wounds aren't completely healed yet. So I just have to put it out there to our board, to our interim administrator, to future administrators, that it is important. And so just
Good to know.
stressing that will always be needed.
I just took a quick look to how many hearings or how many cases right now are on the calendar coming up with those other judges, with Gaskell, Allen, and Steiner's Crawford, and it's 22.
Over the next year or the next 6
No,
months?
over the next,
Month?
just a couple months.
Okay.
Yeah, and those are as of right now.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a county adjacent to us whose administrator demanded that the clerk of court not fill a position after the clerk of court and register and probate together gave up a position last fall. And this particular county is, if this happens, they'll be staffed same or less than us, and they actually have more caseload and whatever. And this is, they've had these positions, they need these positions. And the administrator said, well, would your judge agree to, what if the judge only did court 3 days a week? It doesn't work like that. That's not how, that doesn't solve your caseload. And it just shows a complete lack of understanding by their administration as to how court works. And so then they asked to have a meeting with the clerk, the DA, and the sheriff, not understanding that the court calendar isn't just criminal cases. There's also family cases, there's pro se, there's small claims, there's all the probate and the guardianship and whatever. And then they said, and can you guys tell the other judges not to take cases in your county? And it also doesn't work like that. That is outside of our control, but that is legit what this person asked of an adjacent county's clerk of court this week. And so our chief judge, Horn from La Crosse, and our district court administrator are getting involved in this issue, and we'll probably have a very pointed meeting with that county administrator, because they're the ones that make the case assignments, and you can't just ignore cases. You're public. We're the access to the courts. You cannot let things linger for like 2 years or whatever time just because you say, well, our county administrator says we can only hold court 3 days a week, and 2 of those days are taken up by criminal, and we just don't have time to get the other ones in. And
Judges are state employees.
judges are state employees and court reporters are state employees. The rest of us within the system are county employees, and the system is set up so that clerks of court are the county employee, the manager of the taxpayer dollars, because the systems in each county serves their residents in that county. And so the judges are not responsible for the local budgets. The clerks of court are, and that's why we're county employees by statute, and we're constitutional officers. So there's probably gonna be a little bit of a showdown going on there, but we certainly don't, we're not gonna say what county that is, because we don't want you all calling them and getting any ideas. They're bad ideas. But that is, we certainly don't want that kind of stuff to occur in other counties. That's just, I just can't even believe it. So
All right, register and probate, anything else at this point? Any questions? Okay, moving on then, district attorney. Not here right now, so. Okay, moving on, emergency management.
All right, so we have finally closed out 2024 EPG EPRA as well as our computer hazmat grant. I'm grateful to say that. Was going to have a bunch of stuff for you guys today. Issue is there were some things that got lost in translation through the budget process last year, moving 2025, and there are just some discrepancies from what was originally planned on and discussed. So we're working with interim administrator as well as Tammy Newberry on that now. So I just don't want to present something that's inaccurate. We just want to make sure the pieces are in the right place. I know quite a few times last year we talked about the emergency management coordinator position, which is currently a contracted position transitioning to a county position. Reason for that being is the EMPG grant no longer allows for contract staffing under the grant requirements, but EPRA does. EPRA is definitely a smaller piece of that puzzle financially. So moving forward, it kind of made sense to transition that to a county paid position. Therefore, as requirements in the NOFOs for the grants change, we still have that position in place and it's still funded the same way. But again, it's one of those things that kind of got lost in translation. So we'll be meeting again on Monday about that to try and put all that together. Furthermore, on February 14th, we will be meeting with Representative Kurtz. First half of that meeting is going to be emergency management specific. We're going to be talking about some of these grant things and the NOFOs associated with the grants. As the grants become more complicated to fulfill the requirements of, funding is rapidly decreasing, and that's been shown over the last 3 to 5 years. So it's important that we just have that discussion with him and kind of establish what it actually takes to run the emergency management office in a county of this size and socioeconomics involved in the county. The other thing we'll be talking about with him is mitigation plans and strategies, as well as the disaster funds. Recently is last summer, obviously, we had quite a bit of rain. We've had quite a few residents in the county that have lost tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars and incurred damage from those things. But with those being private properties, we can write them into our mitigation plan, but that doesn't go into effect unless we have a federal declaration of a disaster in the county, and we might get some funding help for them. Otherwise, we get to show up and say, sorry, can't help, but we'd like to. So just a few discussions there. Second half of that meeting is going to be a lot more EMS funding and sustainability within southwestern Wisconsin. So looking forward to that. Otherwise, moving forward, we did complete all our grant requirements for 2025 for EMPG EPRA. We are still working towards establishing a school safety committee. Reason that is not done yet is we need to go over a few other LEPEC things and make sure that we've got all those pieces put together there. Otherwise, I think that's what I have for emergency management. Any questions, comments, concerns?
So I would like to share the question on the budget numbers, just so the committee knows. You were given your 2025 budget and some of the items that you thought were going to be funded came out across as zeros.
Correct.
And so that needs to be cleaned up as to see why, what happened in the translation and yes.
Just on the school safety thing, I can't speak so much for Richland Center because I haven't been involved in it in a long time, but it has a very active school safety committee. They meet monthly. And as far as Richland Center, I just reach out to Jared Wilson and I'm sure he can get you up to speed on what's going on there. Absolutely. Yep.
So
that was, and that's kind of the other piece is with the EPG EPRA. We have John Ryan listed as the person doing the work, the administrative work on those grants. But with EMPG, that is a non-contract position. So now either A, we need to figure out why in which that position didn't happen, where that didn't happen along the lines from the initial discussions back in July of last year, to potentially having to amend our grant application after submission and acceptance. So careful dance.
yes, that's so. And you're meeting with them on Monday. You said to follow up on that. So
I have just a question. So on these grants, both of them, are those state grants or are any of them federal grants?
So there are federal and state grants, and then so federal money gets awarded. Federal grant money gets awarded to the state, Wisconsin Emergency Management then uses the federal grant money to use state grants.
And just out of curiosity, have you received any notification that any federal funding is going to affect state funding that's going to be?
There was about 4 days where we were, from Wisconsin Emergency Management, we were notified there's potential for grant pause. But specifically those grants that were, had a majority target of DEI or climate things, those were the ones at the highest risk of being paused. We then received further notification that there is no change to EMBG EPRA this year that we're aware of.
In 2025?
Correct.
And any change in like the weather, communications or anything coming from state and federal?
No, so we still have a good partnership with National Weather Service. We actually are going to be hosting storm spotter training in April of this year. We'll actually be hosting it in our building, so pretty excited about that. So that'll go out here soon with some information release, but nothing specifically from the National Weather Service saying that anything there is changing.
Okay. All right. Questions for emergency management at this point? Hearing none, moving on to item H, PSAP NG 911 grants. Anything new on that?
We received all our 2023 funding from both grants and excuse me, and we have submitted our 2024 spending so far, and we have started spending on the 2025 grants.
Okay, realize that the meeting later this month, setting up the plan for the next round, 2026. So start getting your ideas together and the needs together and the list together for both GIS and the PSAP, because that'll be, start pushing that out hopefully by June, hopefully start to work on that on the state. So anything else on the PSAPs and grant, NG 911 grants? Hearing none, radio project, radio tower project. Please.
Barb will probably have to jump in at some point on this too, but I just had that drawing set come through my email for the Yuba Tower, which was the tower that was kind of in limbo. We
So the cell one?
We thought we had, no, this is one we're building.
Oh, the building.
Where we thought we had a landowner and then we got a new landowner. So we're a little behind on that one, but I did get a drawing set for that. I don't know if it came through this morning or late yesterday. And busy underway with tower site construction, maybe not necessarily tower construction, but preparing the sites, building shelters, pouring concrete pads. It sounds like they're just kind of working away at that stuff and making progress. So every week, if Barb would agree, every week it seems like they've made, good progress, steady progress. So it seems to be going well.
Okay.
Yep, and they actually are stacking towers at two of the sites. Keysville and Gotham both are stacking towers.
Excellent. And the US Cellular topic?
We're getting, oh, go ahead, Clay.
So Boaz is signed, and we're just working on getting in there and constructing now, and Richland Center should be signed very shortly, if it's not already. Yeah, so that's going. I think they're actually stacking bunker as well, aren't they, Barb? I think last week was 60 feet. 60 feet.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
So, yeah.
I guess I'd like to ask the committee if we would like to have Mike Day come on. We haven't talked with him. He's the coordinator with True North. We would like to get an update from him at the next meeting. Would that be something the committee would be interested in? Just have him online so we can do any follow-up with that or questions? Okay. You want to coordinate that? Or do you want me to coordinate that?
I'll take care of it.
All right, thank you. I think this would be a good time to follow up and see for everything, what he has to say, and get some of those questions out too. So thank you. Anything else on the radio tower project? Hearing none, courthouse security report. Since that?
We will another courthouse security meeting coming up in March.
March? Any, you know what the date is yet?
Uh,
Is it in the email that you sent to Anya for DCA?
I believe it's March 18th. It's a Tuesday. So, just as a note, I think March 14th was a Friday was discussed, but that did not work well for MIS. So I believe we moved it forward to March 18th, from 8:30 to 10. I will send I'll be
Yeah.
sending out an agenda and information on.
Okay, great, thank you. And so you send that to committee, because I'd like to know what the date is.
Yep.
And me, if nothing else, the other committee members want to, that would be fine.
Richland County is in compliance because we hold that meeting. The district court administrator was kind of checking through the district the other day. And so happy to report that our judge is on the ball with that. And it's good that this county is on the ball with it. You guys are interested. And so we were happy to report when she checked in with everybody that, yep, here's our stuff, here's our last. Jen provided the last minutes and stuff like that, and here's when the next meeting is. She was quite pleased that.
Good progress.
Yeah.
Like that. All right. Anything else? Questions? Courthouse security? Courthouse security. Hearing nothing, moving on. We've already taken care of item number 8, with the Governor Evers, to the Wisconsin legislature to approve support for county courts. Handled that. Item number 9, approval of monthly invoices.
Any questions on the bills for the last 2 months? This has got January bills in it as well.
Ready to take a moment, make sure you're.
I just have one question.
Go ahead.
For December. The dog contract monthly payment line, I assume that's a cumulative total for purchasing the dog, $71,000.
Yes.
That's not an actual monthly cost.
Yeah, it's supposed
I
to
mean, I
be.
know how the dog works, but it seems like
That would be a lot, yeah.
that'd be a big chunk.
Let me just double check that quick. No, it should not be $71,000. So, and I don't think that's the cumulative total either.
Yeah.
So that's a typo and I'll, look into that. Yep.
Yes, that would not be.
That'd be good.
I'll take that contract.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
15.
wondering if that's not the jail assessment fund.
Oh, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
As a line item, that would make more sense that that's a jail assessment fund.
Wonder how it here, I don't have it open, but I can stack that up next to the 2025, January 1. And I imagine that'll be a very close number.
Okay, check on that, please. I think that would
Yep,
be-
I'm opening it right now. Oh, I don't have a jail assessment that one.
But the dog contract. The dog contract is $1,500.
Yeah,
Which is, that's where the contract is. $1,500.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
when you're talking about the dog contract, you're speaking of the Richland Area Rescue?
yes.
Yes.
As the accounts payable person, I presume that it's a typo because it's $1,500.
It is $1,500
Yeah.
a month, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, so 71 is, yes, we think that might be the jail assessment line
Okay.
information that got put on the wrong line. So yes, we're going to.
All right.
So I guess I'd be looking for a motion. Do you have an answer to that yet? Or?
Let me open the prior months and see, since it's not in the next months, but. Yeah, we might as well clarify that right here.
Yes, please.
That is the jail assessment amount.
All right, so it's on the wrong line.
Yeah.
It should be at the very bottom line.
It should be on the bottom line, correct?
Okay, so
Yep.
then what the monthly dog contract then should be 1,500.
Yes.
Does that answer your question? Is that-
motion to approve.
Okay, with those changes, okay, I have a, Cosgrove's motion to approve, looking for a second. Give it to Manning. Any further questions or discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Thank you for that taken care of and clarified. All right, anything else on the invoices? Okay, item number 10, closed session. The chair may entertain a motion to enter a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, in this case, coroner's office personnel performance topic. I have a motion from Gary, second by Cosgrove. All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed going to open session or to closed session? Okay, hearing none, we will wait just a moment as the clears. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yes, it was. And I will come get you, or do you want?
I'm going to reshare the video.
All right, so let me know when you're ready. That's okay. Yeah, hopefully we're share. I'll give just a moment here, make sure everything goes crazy.
It says we're unmuted.
Okay.
Ask Dave if he can-
Dave, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can.
All right, so item number 11, return to open session. We have now done item number 12, possible action on items from closed session. At this point, we have no further actions reference closed session. And item number 13, correspondence. Correspondence from anyone? Have no correspondence. And item number 14, future agenda items from the committee.
We would like to request a future agenda item for a special presentation from the coroner's office next month. To talk about our structure, staffing, kind of how we do what we do, and a little more background there.
Very good presentation.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
that's for the coroner's office.
Correct, yes.
As well as I believe there was a request about HMS phones on presentation for March as well.
That would be executive finance.
Oh, this-
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry.
Radio tower.
Radio tower, we're gonna have Mike take here as a presentation, but Barb's gonna take care of that. And that already falls under radio tower project. Special fund for that. Further questions? Your agenda topics, anything? All right. Hearing none, going on to item number 15, adjournment. Manning and Julie, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, motion carried. Thank you very much. Dave, do you have my phone number by chance?
No, I don't think I do.
Hour 19.
Because I didn't ask her any questions. I get Stacy going.
I'm gonna give it to you.
All right.
608-604.